It started with a 911 call in the dead of night. The voice on the other end was faint, trembling. "They're still here. The walls won't stop bleeding." Then silence, just static. Before we dive into tonight's deeply disturbing case, make sure you're subscribed to True Crime Feedback, where chilling mysteries, criminal minds, and the darkest corners of humanity are uncovered. Hit that bell icon so you never miss an upload, because what you're about to hear may keep you up at night. When police arrived at the long-abandoned Sandstone Motel on Route 19, they expected another prank call, or maybe a group of teenagers trespassing. But what they discovered inside those rotting walls would spark one of the most horrifying criminal investigations in the state of Missouri's history. Blood on every wall, symbols no one could decipher, a smell of rot that seemed to pulse through the air like a living thing. And in room 6, a woman's body, but she had been declared dead over 40 years ago. This is True Crime Feedback, and tonight we bring you the disturbing truth behind the abandoned motel. The Sandstone Motel was built in 1962 in rural Missouri, nestled between two forgotten towns that have long since lost their names to history. It was a rest stop, a sanctuary for road-weary travelers, or so it was intended to be. But strange reports started coming in as early as 1964. Guests would hear footsteps pacing outside their rooms, even when the parking lot was empty. Faucets would run blood-red water, and on more than one occasion, people vanished without a trace. By 1978, the motel was shut down permanently after the suspicious disappearance of a family of 4. Despite the closure, locals whispered about lights flickering inside at night. Paranormal investigators came and went, but none stayed long. Sandstone faded into obscurity, a decaying relic of a darker time. Fast forward to March 3rd, 2023. At exactly 3:13 a.m., dispatch received a frantic 911 call from a burner phone. The transcript was short but chilling. "Hello? They're here. They're still here. The walls. They're alive. They're watching me. Room 6. Please. Help me. Please." Click. When police traced the call, they were stunned to discover it came from the Sandstone Motel. There was no sign of activity on the property in over 2 decades. Still, officers Lang and Herrera were dispatched. What they saw upon entering the building was beyond comprehension. Blood-like streaks covered the wallpaper, later confirmed to be human. Strange, archaic symbols were carved into the floorboards. In the center of room 6 lay a body wrapped in motel sheets, pale, cold. But this wasn't just any body. Fingerprints matched to a woman named Georgia Lynn West, who had been reported dead in 1981. Cause of death, a car crash. Her autopsy, her funeral, her burial, all documented. And yet, here she was. Detective Marla Granger took over the investigation. She was a hard-nosed, rational officer, not one to entertain ghosts or spirits. But even she couldn't explain what she was seeing. She dug into the old case files of the Sandstone Motel and found something strange. Numerous missing person reports had disappeared from the archives. Paper trails ended abruptly. Reports signed by officers who no longer existed in any department records. There was one clue, an unsent letter from 1977 found in a rusted file cabinet deep in the motel's back office. It read, "I hear them every night. The guests we never checked out. They scream, but it's muffled, like they're trapped in the walls. The motel doesn't let them leave. Detective Granger ordered a ground scan of the property. It revealed something chilling beneath the foundation. A massive, unregistered basement. There was no blueprint, no record of it ever being built. A team was dispatched. They broke through the crumbling floor in room 3 and descended. What they found was beyond anything they were prepared for. Rows of cages, shackles, chains bolted into the cement and etched into the walls, over and over. The manager welcomes you back. In the far corner was a ledger, pages upon pages of names, check-in dates, but no checkout dates. Some names matched known missing persons from the area. Others were untraceable. And then, Georgia Lynn West's name, dated March 3rd, 2023. So who was this manager the inscriptions kept referring to? Locals remembered a man named Felix Marin, who managed the motel from 1965 to 1978. He vanished after the family of 4 disappeared. No body, no trail, just gone. But his photo remained in one of the motel's brochures. A tall man with sunken eyes and an unnerving smile. Granger consulted a retired forensic psychologist who'd investigated Maron in 1977. He revealed something shocking. Felix Marin had been under suspicion for running a human trafficking ring out of the motel. But the investigation was buried before it went public. He had connections, the psychologist said, powerful ones, people who wanted this place to disappear. In the wreckage of the motel's front office, police recovered a box of old VHS surveillance tapes. Most were degraded beyond repair, but one remained intact. The tape was labeled March 3rd, 2023, room 6. What they saw in the footage was disturbing. Georgia Lynn West, alive, stumbling into the room, eyes wide, as if being chased. She screams into the mirror, but no sound is captured. The door slams shut behind her on its own. She drops to her knees, begins clawing at the floor. Then, on the tape, a figure appears behind her, a man in a 1970s motel uniform, his face blurred, unmoving, watching. Georgia turns, stares at him, and says clearly, "You told me I was free." The tape cuts to black. A week later, police excavated a section behind the motel. Cadaver dogs hid on multiple sites. What they uncovered was the final horror, a mass grave containing at least 27 bodies. Some skeletal remains were identified. Many were not. DNA from one of the victims matched a cold case from 1972. Another matched a college student who disappeared in 1983. But the strangest discovery? Georgia Lynn West's name appeared twice, once in the grave, and once still officially recorded as buried in 1981. The body in room 6 vanished before it could be autopsied. All that was left was the blood and the symbols and the undeniable feeling that something was still watching. The Sandstone Motel has since been sealed off by federal authorities. No trespassing signs surround the property. Some believe it's haunted. Others believe it was a government cover-up for decades of hidden crimes. But the truth might be somewhere in between. A place where the law failed, where the past refused to stay buried, and where evil found a home and called itself manager. Thank you for joining us for this chilling deep dive on true crime feedback. If you made it this far, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss another terrifying case. We uncover the stories that others are too afraid to tell, and sometimes they uncover us back. Until next time, stay safe stay curious, and always check out before it's too late.